stay on my new tongue. Welcome to the regular city scheduled council meeting Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. Would you please all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Dana.
Bergman.
Here.
Pinkel. Osborne. Here. Siegel. Here. Mott.
Here.
Approval of the March 7th, 2023 agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First on our list of considerations tonight is further consideration of bids for the wastewater treatment plant improvement 2021 project. And Alex is here with us tonight from the clerk.
Hey everybody, this is Phil again. I was here a couple of weeks ago and we talked through the bid letting that we had back on Valentine's Day. And you know, over the last couple of weeks, I think we left off the last meeting that we were going to continue evaluating bids, try to get some more information about the marketplace. And actually, I think about a week and a half ago, a similar project did in LaPorte City, just down the road. The engineer's estimate on that project was about $7.5 million, and the low bid that was received on that project was, I think, just over $12 million. There was a little bit higher spread too. I think there was a bidder up around $15 million as well for their project. Really don't know whether that project is going to move forward, but you know, in our opinion, that gives, I think, some comfort in the numbers that we received here in Evansdale. Will be good numbers and just indicative of where the market is for heavy water and wastewater construction right now. So, you know, after, you know, looking at that bid, going back and, you know, evaluating the contractor's bid and all the equipment they included, our recommendation at this point is for the city to accept Woodruff's Construction's bid in the amount of $498,498,400.
That would have been nice.
Yeah. I skipped it, so 8 in front of that, sorry about that. But, yeah, to move forward with that project, you know, we don't feel that rejecting the bids and rebidding would result in lower bid pricing than we receive in the marketplace. That would probably result in much higher bid pricing. So our recommendation is to award the contract and move this forward.
That being said, number 6 is resolution 6683, awarding contract for wastewater treatment plant improvement 2021 project, and that would be to Woodruff.
Who's that to? Them?
What's that?
Who's rewarding the contract to?
It's Woodruff.
Yeah,
Woodruff
Woodruff
Construction.
Construction out of Water.
Yes. The recommendation was in your packet.
I'll move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Osborne. Yes. Siegel.
Yes.
Mott.
Yes.
Bergman.
Yes.
Pinkel.
Number 7, resolution 6684, to fix a date for a public hearing on proposal to enter into a sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement and to borrow money thereunder in a principal amount not to exceed $9,855,000.
I'll make that motion.
Eric, I asked a question. Could you just explain why the overage versus the bid? Is it just so that people know?
Well, that's going to cover all of your contingencies. It's also going to cover all of your engineering. We had, and also the SRF loan that we had originally that was approved several years ago, the $550,000, that rolls into this. That's what we've paid up to this point for engineering.
Yep.
So even though when we do this, and which will be at our next meeting, of course, this is, you ask for the money as you go, so we don't have to, you know, and our goal would be to, when we get halfway through the project, and then see where we're at. And Maggie with Spirit Financial will be here at the next meeting, and she'll kind of go a little bit more into that. Our goal is actually not to loan that, but they always do it a lot higher than what the project is.
Yep. So
And
that-
again, $550,000 of that is the planning and design loan.
It's being rolled in. Yeah, that $9,855,000 is like the the total project cost.
Yes.
Includes the planning and design expenses, the engineering and construction expenses, all of the contract for Woodruff, some of the administrative and legal expenses that you had to incur so far, as well as a few other kind of items that are kind of related to construction. It also includes a 0.5% loan origination fee with IFA, which is the SRF loan program.
Right. And it also includes this, next, not next item, but item number 9, for the 43,000
Yeah.
for Terracon to do the soil testing.
So, but like Ian said, the way this program works is that it's a very good thing. So, as part of one of your next consideration items, we'll be working with the city to help do drawdowns every month, so that what you're paying back or what you're basically incurring as debt is what gets paid out to everyone through that process. And like Ian said, the goal here is to not spend the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a project where we can come in at it.
Yeah.
The high-end cost is the $9,855,000, and yeah, that gives us all of our cushions too. Yeah.
Make the motion.
I'd already done that motion, Steve, but
All right.
I'll support yours though.
We need a second though.
Second.
Roll call, Dana.
Stevo,
Yes.
Smaga,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Gable,
Yes.
Osborne. Yes.
Number 8 is request to approve the amended engineering agreement between Florida Engineering for the wastewater treatment plant in the World Region, and authorize the mayor to sign said agreement. This agreement was just an update on some of the, from the planning and design. The original one and this one are basically the same price. If this one is just a little bit less, according to my calculation.
Yeah. So we basically this contract amendment covers all of the McClure's services through the completion of construction and construction closeout. It also includes the funding source administration that was just mentioned, but as part of that. Yeah, and in big picture, as Deanne said, we're basically running the budget that we presented.
Yes.
I think about a year and a half ago. When we signed the original.
And again, that is part of the
Yes.
sewer revenue loan. It's not about anything, so.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please. Oh, I guess that's just all in favor, sorry.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 9, request to approve the agreement with Terracon for material testing services for the wastewater treatment plant rehabilitation in the amount of $43,098.
Well, while I don't work for Terracon, I'm here to kind of on their behalf to go through this with you guys. As part of this project, there's a fair amount of materials testing and soil testing that are going to be required to ensure that the project is constructed according to the plan specifications. The way we like to do these projects is rather than have a contractor hire testing as part of their contract or have a tester company be a sub engineering firm, we like to have a third-party testing company basically work directly with the city so that you get an unbiased opinion of anything that might come up during construction. Obviously, this has to then, they report to you guys, so their contract is actually doing the review. Not everybody does it that way, but that's just the way we found works best on these types of projects to help get unbiased opinion that really minimizes risk because in this case, Terracon will see the project from your perspective. So the agreement that they've, I think, put together here is like roughly $43,100. Terracon bills all of their services on a time and materials basis. So what they've given us is that they think is their all-in budget, but if things go well, fewer tests are required the day for. And then lastly, that cost is also covered in that SRF.
What time period does this cover?
What's that?
What time period does this cover?
Yeah, it covers the entire project.
It's gonna be over 2 years.
Yeah, it'll be about a 2
Yeah.
year process.
We're gonna do the E. coli first,
Yeah.
because we have a time, we have a time limit on that.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the nutrient reduction after that.
Yeah. Realistically, Terracon's work will probably be done before the rest of the project is fully completed, just because once the buildings get out of the ground and all the work is really contained inside the site, there'll be minimal site work and materials testing for the match.
So this 4398 is actually still included underneath the 9,850,000. So it's just a portion of the 9 million. All right, so we're just approving 43 of this goes to them.
This is a separate agreement.
Yep.
This is our agreement with the city of American.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I mean, really, guys, that was the least amount of this whole project.
Yeah, this is probably the easiest meeting we've ever had to go to. I was talking to Deanne before the meeting. We've been working here since like the fall of 2018, trying to help you guys get this project. As I look back, that was 4.5 years ago, I think. Feels sometimes longer than that, but at the same time, you know, this is a really important project for the city. We're grateful to have moved it this far and decided to see it through the construction. Ultimately, I want to thank you all as well as your predecessors, both at the elected official level and staff, who have been super helpful with this. And thank you.
Thank you, Alex. We appreciate it. We appreciate your endurance and perseverance. Excellent, we're moving forward. Hopefully, we're set for April 1st to start construction, so we'll see. Hopefully Mother Nature holds out and is kind to us. Next item on our agenda is public discussion. If anyone would like to speak regarding just about anything, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. Mr. Pevro?
John Beverly, 542 East End. I realize they're gonna have 1 million holes to fill, but when are they gonna start filling some of these?
They have been already. Yep.
Is it in my area?
No, they've been doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, if it's in your area, I'm gonna make it, jot that down.
Yeah, there's.
People have been calling in and, you know, we're addressing the ones that are obvious to us, like Lafayette Road. But we're addressing, you know, as we can, but then people call in, we'll, you know, make a special attention for
I
that
know the
day.
Grand Boulevard side of these things.
The Grand Boulevard side, the 600 block, right?
Okay.
Thank you, John. Anyone else this evening? Number 11, approval of consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 12 is public hearing for the max levy hearing. I'm opening the public hearing right now at 6:13. The max levy hearing we had, as most of you probably know, the state did a rollback. So they came out with the budget figures for the valuations and they had made a mistake. So, kind of big mistake for all the cities in the state of Iowa. Anyway, that resulted in favor for the property owners in the city of Evansdale and the state of Iowa, because it went from 56 down to 54. The reason I'm bringing that up is the public hearing for the max levy hearing. We were encouraged by state representatives to go ahead and go through with this process. It just can't be more than what you're budgeting, and it's not. It's not. Once we got the rollback and all that, we literally had to roll back the valuations. So as far as the public hearing, it's just going to go as stated. We are not increasing taxes. It's 0.014, actually less than it is right now in FY23. But this is a time for public comment, if there shall be any. And I know the proof of publication was on file, and no public comments were received up to this point. Ms. Parker?
Parker, 111 Marion Avenue. I just want to thank you for committing to fiscal responsibility and not raising taxes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Kelly.
Is that even on, that microphone?
Yeah, it is.
If there's nothing coming there, and it's just like,
Yeah.
nothing amplifies it.
And what we found out from what we found out from Sight and Sound is that speaker over there is turned down because it's so close to that speaker that,
That's what it said, board
it
magnified.
causes
Echo.
an issue for the person speaking. So they turn it down on purpose. You know, what we need to do is, you
Move it
know,
back there.
what we need to do is virtually move it. It would be, that way we could have that speaker turned up. And when the air goes on, as our Public Works Director Cher stated, it's really hard for them to hear us at all up here. And we don't have that big of a room, so we need to make, you know, that'll probably be on the next agenda, to be honest with you, to be doing some upgrades on our audio. Public hearing closed at 6:15. Resolution 6685 approving max levy hearing. I'll take a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Osborne?
Yes.
Siegel?
Yes.
Smock?
Yes.
Bergman?
Yes.
Nichols?
Number 14 is approval of the resolution calendar. I'll take a motion for that. However, that being said, Councilor Siegel was in my office this week regarding, I believe, Resolution 6688, simply applying for a grant for surface transportation block grant for West Gilbert Drive reconstruction project. It's just an application. Obviously, if the funds weren't awarded in FY '27 is what we're hoping for, you know, obviously we wouldn't go on with the project, but that being a part of it, I wanted to kind of pull it out a little bit, just in case anyone had any questions on it.
I know you talked with me, Mayor, but can you tell the audience what funds that comes out of if that went forward so they know?
Okay, so if we were to move forward with the West Gilbert Drive reconstruction project, and that would be just slightly east of River Forest Road to just slightly east of Grand Boulevard at this point, it would be, we're going for state funding, which comes down from the federal, and, you know, we're hoping to get something similar to what we're getting for Lafayette, otherwise we wouldn't go through with that project. Is there any other part that I'm missing? It's just a reconstruction of that particular
I
area.
just wanted the audience to know where the funds come out of.
Oh,
Because
yes.
they always talk about the tax.
Yeah,
because of the road.
and that does not come out of the general fund, which is property tax. The general fund is the only fund which property tax comes out of. That is actually coming out of road use. And, you know, if we were to get this grant, which we would find out this summer, then we would start putting away in our road use fund for that project.
I had one other question on another thing under that resolution calendar.
Okay.
I'd like to have a little explanation why we're replacing the land pride mower for $24,000. Why?
We haven't come to that item yet on the agenda.
It's in the bills.
That's under 19, that's under 17. That was just for a part.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll take a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Siegel?
Yes.
Smock?
Yes.
Bergman?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Osborne?
Yes.
Number 15 is something I reached out to individually, was request to continue West Gilbert Drive project engineering with Bolton and Meek in the amount of $6,000. That was verbally approved. He said that was about all the engineering they had left, because actually they'd already had engineered the preliminary plans, so.
I'll make that motion to approve that request.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry, Justin. Number 16, request to approve a settlement agreement with EYSA and authorize mayor to sign said document. EYSA had hired an attorney. This is basically regarding the bleachers the line painter, the bases, some other miscellaneous equipment. Since the council was the one that originally signed that agreement with them, it was the council that has to approve this agreement. It was a consensus of the park board and the consensus of Cedar Valley Youth Sports to accept this. It's just the bleachers. Those would be the most expensive thing for us to replace. We're not replacing it anyway. You know, the new group, Cedar Valley Youth Sports Association, is gonna be the one that is replacing the items that were left down there. That were removed. Go ahead, Tom.
I had, when Deanne first brought this, I had not seen this agreement. So prior to the meeting, I discussed with her item under section 2, item 7. My concern there, it brought up some red flags. We've got the lift station down there that we're supposed to be paying for, as well as the repairs made in the bathrooms. We had contact with Blackhawk Electric today on the lift station. Sounds like pretty major repairs. We talked to you when we talked to
Right,
Roger.
well, the parts are so far back order, they've been waiting for like 9 months, so Blackhawk Electric is just gonna go, they're gonna keep the existing boxes there, and just kind of rebuild it on site, and get back to working order.
So we don't know how much that's gonna cost. My concern was with the way item 7 was written, that would include that, and we would basically, that expense would then be in our pockets instead of theirs. Deanne advised me that she has talked to the attorney about that this agreement does not include that.
That specifically does not include that. This only specifically includes the equipment that was listed originally that they wanted to retain.
So they'd be paying
And that
for
was spelled out.
So they'd be paying for that modification of the lift station.
They are paying for the modification of the lift station and for, I don't know, are they paying for the repair of that light?
The lights, I don't think we were on that, because the fact is, I mean, we're
It's
gonna have to get
actually
new poles and everything else
right.
probably, so. I mean, there's no way that they can afford that, and it's something that probably will not be fixed this year, and depending upon what they get in revenues over the next year or two, maybe something the city may have to help them with to get those repaired, and I think we've got a plan on that possibly.
Still there, you know,
Yeah, to fix that at a relatively low cost, but right now, we're just working with the new organization on that. The bathroom, the men's side, the urinals were broken, half hanging off the wall, so those are getting replaced. And I do know the plumber was here this winter, but couldn't get in because of the snow.
Yeah.
So I know that they were actively getting that done. But the lift station was the biggest thing, because the thing's a mess. I mean, we can't do without the lift station.
That's for sure. We'll get second done. Thank you. Tom, I appreciate your feedback. I'll take a motion to approve the settlement agreement with NYSA.
What is the agreement? I mean, what
The
are,
agreement is we're basically keeping the bleachers. That's the most expensive thing for us to replace, because they wanted the bleachers
are
too.
we paying them?
No?
No, the
No.
bleachers, throughout the years, I think we've got, former EYSA board members and stuff that would probably say that those bleachers should belong and stay belong with the ball diamonds in the city. To replace those bleachers would cost us up to about $2,500 a piece. And we've got 18 bleachers down there. 4 of those bleachers actually came from Elk Run, was it last year?
A couple of years ago.
And I've already talked with the mayor at one of the meetings that we had here, and she has confirmed that those 4 bleachers were given to the city of Evansdale, not necessarily to YSA.
Right.
So basically, what's in question would be 14 bleachers
Yeah.
at the cost of $2,500 a piece to replace them. But quite a bit. big expense.
Yes.
So there's no money involved?
No money involved. No, we're just agreeing, because they contacted an attorney regarding these items.
Now make a motion to approve it.
Support?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good job, Tim.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I was in favor.
Okay, thank you. Number 17, request from Public Works to place on order land mower from Deke. I think that's how you pronounce it, I might be wrong, but implement in the amount of $24,040 as budgeted for FY #24. And Steve, I think you can even attest to this, that land pride mower has seen better days. When we purchased it, I'm gonna say what, 15, 20 years ago, it was used then. So we purchased it used. It is budgeted. The reason I'm putting it on the agenda this evening is because it's gonna take several months to get it in. It's just gonna, actually, it's not even gonna come in until the end of our season. So, but we wanna lock in the price, because that's a really good price. It even came in better than Water Implement, P&K Minerals. So if you look on page of your budget, you probably, I don't know if you have it with you. If you look at page 1, down under capital equipment, it's 110, 6715 for 25,000 is what we budgeted. And that was under some of the original budget notes when we were discussing Public Works.
Is it the one from Deke or the one from PK?
It's the one from Deke. That's,
Dyke.
oh, Dyke, I'm
Dyke.
sorry.
That
Yeah,
don't-
they
that
came
don't-
in less than,
That don't look like a piece of equipment I wanna have. Why don't we have a John Deere with a John Deere? I mean, they're gonna.
isn't it John Deere?
Yeah, Land Pride.
Oh, it's Land Pride, and that's what we have now.
We have a John Deere, or a Land Pride with a front gear. So a lot of the parts that I already use that, but a lot of people like pop up on the ways and stuff like that, will transfer to this mower. So that's why I just wanted to stay with this.
This has been a good mower for the city too. Like I said, it was used when we got it. And have we had it 15, 20 years? Do you know when
No,
we
we
purchased
haven't
it?
had that long.
Okay,
I think
but it was used, but,
2015, yeah, I think it's probably 15, 14.
yeah, and Chris and his team have been welding it back together for years, so it's not even good to anyone even to sell it. It's good for scrap. Are you gonna keep
We're
it
gonna
for
kick around
parts?
the idea of, we're gonna see if we can get it. I got a few small towns that I spoke with, and then I'll probably have either, I can give you a quote or P&K, or,
Okay. Yeah, we mow, how many acres do you think with that land print?
oh my goodness.
I know, probably what, 15,
Well,
25?
That's 62 acres.
Okay,
And then we mow all our levees, and
yeah,
that's why, all our levees and stuff, we have to
yeah. Yeah, it's a piece of equipment, I mean, what was it, 2 summers ago when we had the wheel fly off that and then park? Yeah, so, I mean, it's seen better days.
Lots
It's,
of play a part in that.
yeah, it's kind of a liability. Just at this point, but we wanted to get it on the agenda, to get it on order so we can have it by the end of the summer.
I would like to have a price from John Deere too.
We did.
Is it lower than this or higher?
No, it was higher. It came in at 24,300. Do you remember it? 24,330 or something? 340? Yeah.
I mean, the tractor's a John Deere, am I right or wrong?
Oh, you meant like from,
You're right, the tractor is what you want to buy there.
yeah.
I'd rather have a state John Deere equipment like it is now running.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's what we're trying to tell you. It's not, it's a land pride mower. It's
Okay.
not a John Deere. The mower deck is not a John Deere. It's never been a John Deere. It's a land John Deere Green, which unfortunately they don't offer John Deere Green with that price point. So I think it's either that or that, or you would do it.
Chris, do they make something like this from,
No.
oh,
They don't.
John Deere doesn't make it, okay.
That's why they're selling the land price at. John
Yeah,
Deere.
PK Midwest, who is a John Deere implement.
Yeah,
This is-
out on Port Hudson.
Yeah, this is what they offer. So, and they're a John Deere implement. They don't have anything in a John Deere quote unquote brand, the size of a mower. But it's run by, and it's,
How wide?
the, what is the path?
16 feet.
16 feet,
16 feet?
yeah.
That's a little bigger than mine.
Were you at a volunteer mowing time, Ron?
Dang.
Well, I got a zero turn. I got more lawnmowers than I need.
I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Number 18, request from mayor to sign annual agreement with People Service in the amount of $14,698 monthly and authorize mayor to sign said agreement. Due to CPI, I'm sure you read the agreement. Currently, we're paying $13,814. Kind of sign of the times. Seems like everything is going up and wages especially, so that's the agreement. We're in a 5-year agreement with them, so just because their price goes up, it's not really anything we can do about it, I guess.
I think it's taken a lot of the stress and strain off our department when we had somebody down there. I think it's money well spent. I know the cost of it goes up for them, and we signed a contract that stated that. So I make a motion to sign it, but it changes to 14,698 instead of 13, whatever it was.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? In speed and in total agreement. Especially going through this process, I've met with Heath and with Mike and, when Ryan was here and just the whole crew, and it's been a great experience. And I hope you tell the powers above you, that we said that. It's been a very smooth process, and, at times going through the process of, this agreement and Heath being there, and just so you know, Heath is our district manager for People Service. He had a lot to offer, to the rehabilitation of our wastewater plant. So, yeah, I can say I'm thankful. And thank you. Number 19, set the date for citywide garage sales for June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Set the date for citywide cleanup for June 9th and 10th.
So moved.
Is that to pick up that stuff again, so?
I guess
Pretty
I've
much.
been told, no, I don't know this for sure. I've been told that that's why we always have it the week after. Because if,
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody make a motion?
Nope, we haven't got a second yet.
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 21 is FY 2024 budget workshop. As you can see, I put a piece of paper in front of you this evening. I just highlighted the major changes, and I think some of them that have been, brought to me of concern. So I would like to read the item that I feel that has been a concern after talking to all of you individually. And then basically, I want some type of a consensus. Obviously, we're not voting on anything tonight, but I'd like some kind of consensus, because at the next meeting, we'd like to set the date of the public hearing. So we're not going to be approving this until the first week of April, and that's getting tight. So So the first one was the police. We had our standard wage increase for the union contract, what was 2.75%. However, they did get a stipend upgrade. We had a small amendment to the contract this fiscal year. Chief increase was 6%, and justification for that was 3 years less than the national average. And I would like to get some consensus on that.
I guess I'll say my piece. I don't have a serious problem, chief, on a raise, but everything we were looking at the budget and all the increases, and he's not union, and we gave a $50,000 a year increase to the police department, whatever the story was. I'm not gonna go into the depth of that anymore. I think that's just a little much. I have no problem giving Chief Dean a 3%, but not the total of 6%. That's just my opinion.
Ron?
I don't know what, I don't have a paper.
Isn't it?
Underneath here. Back of that.
It's underneath here, it's on the bottom.
So they covered it up.
And basically, we're talking, just so everybody in the audience is aware, we're able to keep the budget at what it is, the levy rate, and still do this. For several years, he would receive quite a bit less than the rest of the employees on the police department and city employees in general. Some of the people in management had taken a cut to help keep the budget low or to reduce the budget. And that's why we are seeking a higher increase. And, right now our CPI is 8.2%. So, Ron, do you have any feedback on that?
No, I'm studying it. I more or less agree with Steve as far as when they have discussed the contract, that's the time to set it up.
Well, he's
I know
not
he's not on
contract.
the contract, but
Yeah,
that's the time when all wages are.
and he is salary, so all of the salaried people in the city are always during budget.
Where's the ad on the budget, Mike?
It's as a whole.
Oh,
It's as a whole. And I might mention too, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention again. Chief Dean doesn't take any insurance from the city. So that's a huge savings for the city.
I just,
Yeah, I'm asking individually. You said you're,
Back when we were doing the union wages and looking at that for the police department, I wanted to give Dean something then. I don't know about 6%, but I do definitely want to give him something. With the way that the society's been with the law enforcement, I feel like, we should at least do something for that.
okay.
Well, if you want to go ahead.
Here's the way I cut that. 6%'s a lot for an increase.
Yeah, it figured out to it.
And
I sent you
then,
that page.
like I say, union contracts coming up, the chief has nothing to do with that, but
No.
he can come at any time and want more money. Union contract.
Yeah, but generally speaking, we do not give out wages every year. We only give out wages at July 1st. Unless there's something written into, it's pretty cut and dry for the city. If we're gonna give any kind of other increase, it usually, maybe when you're hired, maybe, after so many days, like 90 days or something like that, you may get an increase. But generally speaking, it's once a year. And it's during budget time, so.
Doesn't this have to still come like as in the form of a resolution, like when this comes into place, don't it still have to come?
Yeah, we're not voting on anything
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
what I'm
We're-
saying, so.
I I just pointed out some items
Yeah.
that is.
And I'm thankful for that, because it helps
Hmm.
me understand.
Yeah, that have been, when I was talking to one or more of you, that were something that we need to discuss further in the budget, because believe it or not, we've spent 3 months on this budget, and I think these are just our final couple days, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's pretty easy that there's a bunch of stuff that we have to do behind the scenes.
Well, I
Dana and I will be working with to,
I think anytime that you're talking wages, sure, everybody wants to give everybody all the wages in the world. I mean, I'd love to be able to just say, yeah, go for it, but, when you start talking about taxpayer money, I think that's probably what the hang-up is, because everybody wants to be cautious about it. I'm guessing, because that's my thought about it, because I don't not want to do that, I want to be able to support the city, because I think everybody does an awesome job, but
I'm in agreement with that, yes.
Hmm.
Jeff?
Yeah, well, my opinion on the Chiefs increase, because he's been left behind the last several years, apparently, right? And we're already talking about it's hard to get officers recruited for the city. What happens when we lose a chief? And so I'm not trying to say that, absolutely throw everything at him, but I think we need to look at the high side of that 6%. I really do. If we're going to try to retain, employee that's already been proving themselves here, rather than having to try to go out and do this all over again.
Yeah, and that being said too, when we did the bump up for the police department, and we appreciate all our public safety and public works employees, we bumped them up $2.11, and this equates to, I think what I sent you, Justin, you might have that on the computer, I think it was $1.49. So, literally, he's not even getting an increase to equal his,
Well, then at your point too, Deanne, that he doesn't take the insurance from the city, so we're not, that costs are gone. So I mean, there's, give and take, a give and take cost there. So yeah, and if all these numbers fall underneath our levy, I don't see why we can't. But I mean, again, as I've said before, I'm still new here. I'm still learning. So,
Justin, do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it, Mayor. You and I talked several times, tweaking numbers, looking at things, going against national averages, Midwest averages, and I can speak generally to the list as a whole on all of the different labor wage increases. It's been a struggle. It's absolutely something that's been a mix between, sure, everyone wants to give a raise, and we absolutely want to make sure we take care of our people, but then again, the money comes from taxpayers, so we want to make sure we do that properly. The first thing that I looked at the whole was everything on this sheet, and again, this year's budget, what was it doing to our levy rate, what was it doing to our tax rate, and then how is it sustainable. I felt comfortable with how it was laid out to be able to make these additional increases this year, given the intention to labor shortages, to fight for the right people for the right positions, and so on. So, rather than get on my soapbox, I'm comfortable with it. I do think for that position has taken obviously less in years previous. Not that we have to, I guess, quote unquote, feel bad and make it up all at once, but I think balancing the budget, making sure that we're spending appropriately, and then if we have the ability to kind of help right level that a little bit, especially when cost of living is higher, and then just in general, the position is hard to keep in a shortage. I have no problem with the 6%.
To be clear, is the 6% part of, this is,
It's already factored into the budget.
yeah, but it's just, and that's it though, like in July when everybody gets raises.
This is at July.
Okay, I'm just.
This is, yeah, everything in the budget does not take effect until July 1st. Yeah.
I'm not against giving him a raise, but the 6% is what, I would be more in the 3% range or something like that.
How about the meet in the middle?
That is, That is the middle of that tree.
Well,
Yeah.
well, kind of, but,
Depends on where we're.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have some of us saying 6, and some of you saying 3. So, what's your number? Like 4.5?
I'm saying 3, just like it's been in union contract time and
Okay.
in between. He took the job as a police chief. I got nothing against him. He knew coming in he wasn't gonna get the insurance. I don't like that being used as a leverage tonight, trying to look at pay raises. So I don't appreciate that dialogue myself. So that's why I said 3%. That seems to ring out there to everybody all the time. That's what I hear. And that's why I said 3% total. And I think I think that's fair. That's not saying no. It's saying the average total, 3%. It's not saying 1 or anything. I mean, I don't see an ill total of 3%. I just don't see where that's a wrongdoing. And what I don't like, I'm the voices now, I don't like all these numbers being worked into the budget now before we discussed it to approve it. I know we're not approving it tonight, but whatever goes on with this goes in the budget, and that's it. You can say the levy rate's the same, you can say we're not going up, and I appreciate all that. But I'm looking at what's gone on in the past, and I would never think, I mean, maybe we should put 6% in for the city council. We put in a lot of time, we're dedicated, we're committed. I mean enough, we've been for the police, and I feel wholeheartedly that was the right thing to do then, but that's a $50,000 increase. I mean, how many $50,000 increases are we gonna do for wages? I mean, where are we gonna stop it? Do you think, one thing I wanna make everybody aware of, when it comes contract time, and the question I'd like to know from the mayor is, do the non-bargaining employees, is that an automatic in law, state law, that they have to get what the union people get? I'd like to have that in writing from the attorney.
No, sir.
Okay, well, I'd like to see that from, can I call the attorney?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Not part of the union contract at all.
Okay. So I don't think it's being unfair, Jeff, giving them a total of 3%. I mean, look at back here, 2.5, 2.5, 1.5. So I look at it that we're stepping up totally more than he's got in 3 years. That's the way I look at it.
What average are you hearing? You said 3% average. Typically that's, in my understanding, is typically that's based off of cost of living wages or inflation, which, yes, is typically 2.5 to 2.8% a year.
Right.
This last year it was not.
Right.
It was obviously way more. So are you hearing from the last year, or are you just saying kind of as a general consensus over the past?
I'm saying the general consensus of what I've heard being on the council, what's been allowed year to year. Whatever the CIP, whatever any of that did, I mean, I don't think that should be a big variable. We take care of the people. He doesn't take the insurance, and I feel bad about that. That's quite a bump to people, but they get their longevity, they get a police retirement fund, I mean, they get their wage. I know what he's at now, I know what the 3% would be. I don't think that's unfair to the chief, I really don't. If he was here tonight, I would tell him.
Nothing against him at all, I think he does a great job.
And I'm with you, Steve, just so that you know where it's at. The city insurance piece doesn't matter to me. I understand what we can look at that way, but again, it's his choice. So that is a separate benefits package that he could take.
Right.
So I'm with you. I understand what you're saying there.
And I mean, if I get 3%, I'm like doing a happy dance at work. So I don't know about anybody else, but like in that I'm in the workforce right now, and that's all I've seen, and throughout the workforce that I'm around. So I mean, 6% is pretty high, but 3% to me seems like the normal, even with COVID. I mean, I know that there's some people that are out there that didn't even get that. So I mean, I can see what Steve's saying on that. I mean, obviously, I want to be able to be a little bit higher than that, but if I can get 3% for me, I'd be happy to get 3% for me.
I just want to put one fact out there. You know, Social Security this year, the raise was .0112 for 20 years.
Oh,
Okay, that's where I struggle. I'm not crying to anybody.
Right.
It's just what the rate meant. So when people say they're not, 3% is unfair, I find that unfair. I mean, it's not like we're sitting here and I'm saying I don't think they deserve anything. I think 3% has been the going rate in the city, regardless of what's going on every year. That's always kind of been a close number, and I thought that was fair when this paper come out.
But Steve, tell us what the actual increase was in Social Security this year.
0.0112
It was 8.1%. Fact.
in 20 years. That was the
This
increase.
year.
In 20 years' time, every Social
This year.
Security.
We're talking about this year.
I'm talking about, we're talking about long
You haven't
period.
been on Social Security for 20 years, Steve.
I'm talking about Social Security in general.
I know, I'm
It's
just
not a bad
asking you.
number. Yeah, so,
Okay. Parks, we were looking at, purchasing a golf cart for 10,000. Angels Park parking lot, rehabilitation, 55,000. New park signs, there was 2 of those budgeted in their 5-year plan for up to 5,000. And push button showers at Deerwood Campground, that item is more of a cost savings than anything. And that's gonna be up to 5,000. All these items, like I stated, they're all within our budget right now. I just want to give the consensus. I'm getting a little bit mixed feeling. It seemed like everybody was in favor of Angels Park. No one really was opposed to the golf cart. And I'm sure that the push buttons are a go. I'm not real sure about the park signs. No one really said anything about that. So.
Mayor, I thought we said, you had told me that you wanted to make sure in the parks that we controlled extra expenses this year. You and I talked, and I'm not against the parking lot. What I asked for that I thought we were gonna do is we were gonna come up with some kind of fund or reserves, put it in a program, and when that amount of money got there, no problem, Tom or the Parks Board would have the money there to just pay for it.
It's not even working.
I don't think it's working.
It's picking it up though through the video, so if you could just speak louder than you.
So it's not saying no, it's saying let's budget for it, build a reserve thing, and when the money comes close to what, we don't even know if 55,000 will do it. So I'm just saying we put a fund in there, that we're gonna start building that for apartments. And then when it comes up and the money's there, go ahead and spend the money, because we have a reserve to build it, rather than just putting it in the budget.
Well, that was something that we actually did discuss. I'd be happy to set that money aside and put it under just other general government, under capital outlay as being put aside. It was a consensus of the council that I reached out to that they were okay with going forward with the Angels Park parking lot project. So that's, I'm just looking to find out because we have to put all these numbers in a budget format for approval in a couple weeks. So a month, hold on, we'll have one more meeting.
Mayor, I'm just asking you, I'm not disputing necessarily the sheet. I'm just saying from my point of view, enough's enough. I mean, we can't constantly keep getting everything that comes forward to us, whether it's reserve, whether it's road use, whatever it is. We have to be diligent with the money. I know a lot of this, some of this comes out of property taxes, but I'm just trying to have a conscientious look at this and still build for the future rather than we get a piece of paper and let's just do this year. We get a piece of paper next year, let's just do this good, it's within the budget, it's within the budget.
Councilor Sebo, I'm bringing this stuff up so I can get the opinion
I
of
want to make sure
other
you understand where I'm
councilors
coming
besides yourself. So that's what I want. That's why these items are being brought up. I want to know, we have to do a budget.
I understand all
We're
that.
required to do a budget in order to get property tax. And it has to be done by the end of April this year. And
We've talked on it.
I'm just saying, I need to get a consensus of what we're putting in it. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes. Once there's a decision made.
I appreciate what you're doing, but
Yeah, I'm, just want a consensus from, how council would like to move forward with these particular items.
I like how Tom presented his 5-year plan kind of with us. I liked that item concept. I like the fact that we're taking, I feel like the smaller dollar items and putting it in for, consideration. And I mean, I'm pretty neutral on the parking lot because I mean, if we need to do it, then that's probably one of the lower cost items, and I'm thinking, hey, that's fine. I just think that we do need to be conscious of the cost and what we're spending money on. And so, in considering that we still have the, taxes at the same rate as last year, I'm very happy about that. So that would be something that I'd be more lax to be okay with. But, we still, this, even if you're pulling it and putting it into the budget, that, we still have to approve it.
Yeah, but it is already in the budget. These
Yeah.
items here are already in this budget.
Yeah,
The-
you said,
Yeah, in this.
Yeah.
book.
yeah, I see that.
So it's, some of the preliminary numbers are, 'cause it
Yeah.
has to be entered in a couple different places, so. I have to be able to make it up for you guys to put something together to approve, so.
I like how Tom presented his stuff. I like to be able to see the whole big picture.
Ron?
Well, I said, like I said before, the parks, you should put an escrow account, and that's what I've been for, and I'm still for doing something. We've got any larger expenditures like that, do the same with all of them, so you got 2 or 3 of them going.
Right.
And that's the way I would, and then I would approve most of this, if you
Yeah.
go that direction.
And
But
we are
if you
planning
don't,
on
you're
doing
pulling it
that.
all out of one year, and that's,
Yeah,
I just paid my taxes today, half of it, $22,000.
well, you own a lot of property, Ron. I tend to not feel sorry for you at this moment.
I haven't had nothing to eat yet either.
So we are gonna be able to set some side, we're gonna set some side for squad car, ambulance, and for future park department, budget, we are gonna do that as well. Those funds have been set up several years ago, and, that way, we're not in this situation moving forward. We
Is
are.
this parking lot, Tom, you got a price, is this an actual price, or is this a guess?
That was the price we had for last year. Last year when the ramp for the boat dock was damaged with the winter that we had last winter, we went out and sought bids. Since we had to redo that, we were looking at doing the whole parking lot. And,
Somebody give you a bid now, is that to bring the base up so you can put asphalt over it?
the base, that lower parking lot, addition, that's got a rock base under that, doesn't it?
For 55,000?
That'd be
How
the-
many square feet is it?
Be for the whole parking lot. I don't have the bid with me, so.
And this, we're not approving, if, that whole process would have to go through just like it normally would. So, the bid process would have to, he would have to get quotes from several different
Yeah,
places.
right now it's just a guess.
Right now it's just a guess.
Just trying to earmark 55,000 out for this parking lot.
Yes.
Like Tom said, when we did the ramp, they did the parking lot too. So chances are, today's price is gonna be high.
Yeah.
Yep.
The ramp we did last year, we got that done. So the boat ramp is fixed. 'Cause
Well, I would
otherwise
say
we
it's
wouldn't even need the boat
probably
ramp.
20% higher now, or more.
I know I keep harping on this, but, I don't know if Deanne gave you that sheet she came up with the last 9 years of the parks. Technically, you look at that last 9 years of the parks has not cost the city a dime, not a dime. Because of Deerwood Park.
Now, have you looked at that sheet?
Yeah, I did look at that sheet.
It shows that
You're about $300,000 ahead over what we've brought in over the last 9 years.
last 9 years, the sheet I got shows you $1,926,000 spent, $1,734,000 without grant money in operating operational revenue.
without grant money, but we brought grant money in also.
But that's still a taxable thing now.
Gaming
Here's your grant.
money's not taxable.
Here's your grant down here, with grants, without grants. Here's your actual park board.
I understand that, but we brought money in to offset.
I know, but
The
I don't like you
taxpayers'
saying
money.
that you brought money into.
We have. Who wrote the grant, Steve?
I'm not gonna argue, Tom. I'm looking at the facts that I was given.
I mean, if you don't want us to write grants, to bring in extra money to pay for these projects, we can
That's not what I
start
said,
doing that.
Tom. That's not what I
Then
said.
give us credit for the work that we do.
I did.
No, you're not.
Moving on. Justin, do you have a comment regarding parks?
No, I guess just my statement.
Hey Justin, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, can you hear me?
Nope, you're good now.
Okay, sorry. I guess I took how bringing to the point of identifying the different things and what was needed, and yes, we have spent a lot of money on parks with grant assistance as well, which has been great. I do follow the spending, and I do agree with Tom. I do follow his logic, I guess, on this as far as where the break even is with what's coming into the city and what's been spent. And I thank them for their effort there as well. As far as the expenditures, I see these items all budgeted out as those items that they walk through their 5-year plan. So rather than just pick a year, we'll stick something in there or a different way of looking at it. I personally don't see it that way, is that I do see it in a 5-year plan. This year we want to try to do this. Year 2 we want to try to do this. And I appreciate that, having those items brought forward to help give me a bigger picture of where they would like to go. So, you know, again, these are all things that either need to be done or they would like to be done as far as their budget goes. My next look is that, can we make that work inside the budget? And if we can, then yes, it's something I'm in favor of. That is the way the numbers have landed currently, so yes, I have no problem.
Anybody else want to comment? Okay, hotel motel, Evansdale, and these were just I just want to make sure that we were still in favor of this. Evansdale youth softball is $2,000, we've been budgeting that for years. And that comes out of hotel motel, which we are required to put 50% of that revenue into a fund for recreation and it's actually called culture and recreation. Fireworks, 2,500, and Friday night rec. Hopefully we'll boot that up again. That's going to be 900. So I didn't think there was anyone opposed to that, but if there is, this would be your great time to speak. Lafayette construction project. I'm going to actually go on a side note there. Chris and myself actually went down to Cedar Rapids today to meet with Shive Hattery, and also we met with Bolton and Meek, our city engineer. I had some concerns regarding the Lafayette project and the stability of the road after the project's finished. There will be more details forthcoming. We are budgeting for Lafayette construction project. Our grant for 1.7 million is an 80-20 grant. So 20% the city will be responsible for, and that's going to be budgeted in capital projects. And more than likely, 99.9% sure, we will go out for bond for that, because it's going to be probably in excess of $1 million. That's how much prices have went up. Originally, when back in 2020, when Mayor Beatty went after that grant, they estimated the project at $2.6 million. So one of the things that they were going to do with Lafayette Road, if you can kind of visualize this, we have 10 foot on each side for the travel lane. They're going to expand that to 12 feet, obviously because when it was built in Ron's time in the 40s.
It's not that
Just want to make sure you're awake. cars weren't that wide as they are today. So we are gonna expand that. What's that?
You say cars aren't as wide as they are today?
Cars weren't as wide then, in the 40s.
Cars?
Yeah.
The cars were wider in the 40s than they are now.
Really? Than an F-150 pickup
Yeah.
with side view
Well,
mirrors?
two dual wheels and stuff like that on there, but average car, you could sit 3 or 4 kids in the back seat, now you get 2.
Yeah, there's some truth to
And
that.
the front seat, you can get 3 or 4 people.
I really don't know why they only built the roadway 10 feet, but that's neither here nor there.
Sure, this was a major highway.
I know, and I still don't know why they built it that small. Anyway, long story short, and Ron and I had this conversation, actually probably about a year ago, a little over a year ago. The engineers right now, as we speak, are looking at do a full reconstruction on Lafayette Road, not an overlay. The problem with the overlay is when you take a river rock road that is hard as rocks, that's deteriorating at a rapid rate, and you put asphalt here, we're gonna have cracking. And where the cracking is gonna be is where we're gonna be driving. So they are looking, our Bolton and Mink has went through the stuff. That was the first thing when they looked at the plans. They stated you're gonna have cracking, and that's gonna be the area where people are gonna be driving,
So you're saying we're going away from a crush in place and overlay?
Well, it was never a crush in place. It was a interlayer. So it was just taking the road, fixing the patches, putting an interlayer over, but they were gonna connect this rock road with asphalt on each side. It's for a project that's went on for this long and is needed, we don't want to go in there and do that. They're already saying they don't think it's going to be more than 2.5 million to do a complete reconstruction. So, and that could actually include curb and gutters, so we can get some of the water issues dealt with, and the trail.
That'd make the people happy too.
Yeah.
They're looking forward to curb and gutter and sidewalks now.
Yeah, the bottom line is this. We don't want to construct a road and spend 2.6 million on something that's gonna fall apart in 5 to 10 years.
The only way you construct it, I thought they were gonna tear it up originally, you gotta fix every one of them parts that are busted out.
Yeah.
And bring them up to grade, and that means, that's clear across the street, you can't put a patch here and everything there.
Right.
It has to be done right, and you're gonna have more in it that way, plus a piece of crap.
Right. So, well, that's just, I kind of segued into that, but I was planning on bringing it up tonight anyway. We'll hear more about it shortly, so. I just want to explain, again, go ahead.
I've been told, somebody said it's seen it on Facebook, you guys only gonna put one, road, for kids to go back and forth on one side?
It is gonna just be on the south side.
You can't do it. You gotta have enough room for people to go on, face the traffic, you gotta be facing traffic, walking or riding a bicycle, going down this way, when you go on the other side, it's the same way. You gotta have a bicycle, people walking, but face your traffic. You can't ride behind.
It's gonna be an 8-foot wide trail though. It's gonna be both for biking and pedestrians.
On both sides.
But I will have you say,
One
Jerry,
side.
if you drive down any street in the city of Evansdale, one thing you will notice, there's only a sidewalk on one side of the street.
Right. But you can ride on the creek, but you gotta be facing the traffic, because otherwise, if you ride this way, car come here, you're gonna kill somebody. You gotta have it, I've been like that for years.
All right. Well, whatever. I've never heard that before, but.
I don't know where you've been, but that's where you've been.
Mayor, I had a question, I just brought it up. They've designed all these plans that we made under the old assumption, and now everybody agrees and says it's gonna be another assumption. Are they gonna cut us a break on engineering fees?
Yes. Okay, next item on our checklist here is Public Works Director. Talked to all of you regarding an increase of 5% for Chris Shares, Public Works Director. Like, very similar to Chief Dean, as salary, I have received quite a bit less of an increase the past 3 years than all the rest of the departments. And also, if you saw the, and this is the same with Chief Dean as well, if you saw the sheet we put together, showed comparisons from all the cities that are the same size, some smaller than us, some larger than us. Actually, the chief position and the public works position is grossly underpaid. I appreciate our guys. I had kind of a mixed feeling as far as those increases go. Right now, there's a standard union increase for the public work laborers, grade 1 to 4, of 3%. I am looking one-time cost of living raise at additional 2%. This is taking out of road use. You know, I talked to all of you probably until I'm blue in the face. Those are the guys that are out there in the middle of the night and Jordan can attest to this, when the roads get slick, they're calling them. When we have a flood event, they're the ones that are working 24/7 to make sure the city is not underwater. Those are the ones that you have a sewer backup on your street, in your house, and they're the ones out there at 2 o'clock in the morning with the vac off, sucking out the manhole that backed up for whatever reason in the street. It could be because you had roots in your line, which we had probably one of the coldest days that we had this year so far. I know I can attest to it because I went on site. You could hardly even stand to be outside. I think the actual temperature that day was 30 below. And they were out there, their whole crew, on Jones. Yeah, 4 hours, trying to get a handle on that for the residents. It was right before Christmas. I can't say it enough. I can't express it enough. These are the people, your police officers, your chief, your public works director, and your public works employees that are carrying our city. They're the ones that we're calling. You have a pothole. I don't know how many calls we took for potholes this week. They go out there. You know, we're focusing on some main ones that we know are an issue, but you know, there's no questions asked. They're out there and they're doing it. And am I on my soapbox? Yeah, I'm on my soapbox. How many years are we going to go with some of the lowest wages, even probably in the state? I mean, if you saw the comparison. And myself personally, you know, you're saying, well, I think at 3%. Yeah, you've probably had 3% raises for the last 3 years. These people haven't. They haven't had a raise. They had 2.5%.
I haven't had a 3% raise in the last 3 years, so I don't know why you're looking at me, but.
Well, I don't know, I guess.
I mean.
Or whatever they got, Mayor, it was their contract agreement. They got 2.5 in their contract agreement. That was their, we didn't force them into setting for the 2.5. That's what they agreed to do.
Yeah, and the CPI back then was 3%. It's 8.2% right now. A dozen eggs is $4.99. A thing of butter, even at Quick Start, is $3.99. A gallon of milk is $3.29. Obviously, I do a lot of shopping. Did you get that?
I could buy a cow.
I don't have a big enough yard. Maybe I could get some land from you. I'm just saying, I want you to think about that. I'm not asking you to make any decisions. This city needs to step up the plate for the people that serve this city day in and day out. It's not just 5 days a week from 7 to 3. It's on the weekends as well.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
why, how come you guys can't hire some more people to work for the city? You only got, what, 6 people?
We only have 5.
Okay, you need to step up and bring some part-time people in to help do stuff.
Well, we do. We get seasonal help come
Oh, that's fine, but I mean.
around May, from May usually to May to
I
October.
know a lot of people like to help mow the yards and you can't do it.
We're taking applications, Jerry.
How old are you gonna be?
16.
Before it was 18. And that's fine, I mean, let the kids have some extra money. No.
I get it. The other items on here, are, obviously road repairs. We discussed at our last meeting, we're gonna up that another 200,000. We have an excess and that we need to get spent down on road repairs right now for, some of the streets, and we'll designate those streets, and obviously they'll come to council at that time. Yard Waste Center, we're still working on that bid, but right now it's gonna be about 136,000. I've got a couple other, companies that I need to, that Chris needs to check with. Chris and I have been in contact about that, and there's some of the work that we can actually do, ourselves. Stormwater, there's approximately 10 stormwater units on West Gilbert Drive that need to be replaced. Because they're breaking down quite rapidly. We did budget that in stormwater. And then, obviously, you know what's going on with wastewater. It looks like Michigan Lift Station is not, we're actually not gonna start on that project until June. Excuse me. So some of that project is gonna be carried over into the next fiscal year. Comments, questions?
Justin, do you have anything to say?
No, I can just recap, where I started when we were talking about the police piece. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That I'm good. I mean, I guess I agree with what's on here. I understand the logic. I don't feel, to be honest, it's overextending in any way. And that if we can I want to keep the city growing, but I absolutely want to make sure it's not at the expense of just hyperinflated taxes. So if we are able to physically stay responsible and continue paying people good wages, doing great projects for the city, and then continually improving what we have, as a whole, I'm good with that. I guess I can end on that note.
Mayor Council reports. I don't know what more you can add.
Well,
We've been going through this for 3 months.
I'm gonna add, I thought this was just general conversation.
It is.
This isn't budget.
Oh, for Mayor Council reports?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
I've had a lot of concern, and Jerry's one of them. I'd like to know a disposition on Norma. Are we gonna go, we spent time, Norma, Fran, and Arbutus. I drove around this weekend, looked, we got a lot of places I think either we're working on or we're not working on. Are we we give that guy 2 weeks on Norma, so are we going in, do we got legal action started, we're gonna go in and clean it out?
Well, it works like this. We'll do a citation. Steve said today was his drop dead day. So tomorrow we'll do a citation. From there, it'll go to court. I already expressed this to Mr. Norton in the parking lot the other day, and I guess I thought he would make some attempt to move it forward. And then it goes to the court and the judge decides. That process takes usually 2 to 3 weeks.
So we'll get a court date on that right away?
Yep.
Okay.
What about Arbutus and Fran?
I reached out to, Steve, yesterday afternoon, actually. There's another one on, that we've been working with on Jones, 715 Jones. So he didn't get back to me today. So I'm hoping he reaches out to me tomorrow on those. And I'd be happy to update you.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
That 725 Arbutus, he was making a lot of headway, so I was surprised when,
That corner house?
yeah, he was
Making
making,
headways?
he was making headway. So I
He
don't
moved-
know if,
He moved that one car up about 2 foot.
no, because Steve has been going by there for,
Anything ever been done on Gilbertville Road?
no, but I hear it's out of control.
You tell me it's not a control. Because you know, I'm on planning and zoning, and I was under the impression that if you had vehicles like that, they had to be licensed, they had to be operable, they had to be setting on gravel. There was a whole bunch of, and this is, everything is, none of that is up to par. None of it. But I guess because it's out in the fringe area of Evansdale, nobody cares about it, but if we leave everybody do that,
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind, and Chris just told me this past week that it's out of control. And I was gonna make sure I looked at it today when we drove by there on Wednesday, and I forgot.
between the buses and the trucks and the cars, and they've got 50 units out there that are just basically junk.
Wow, okay.
Isn't that you one, John, now?
Yeah, but it says in our planning and zoning that to have junk cars, what if they set over here? They maybe put a fence around it at least.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's another one that's come to me, is people complaining about their stuff outside the fence again. I mean, I talked to Jerry, I don't know how many times we gotta talk about ordinances, instead of having them concrete, here's a step, we're gonna do it. Now, the metal place over here did a great job, they cut the file down, we were all concerned about that. So that's great when it goes that way, but when we got these things around town, and we're talking about revamping some of the ordinances, and I know there's a process, and citizens don't always know the process. And I talked to Jerry before the meeting, there's another one around the corner from Norma,
On Mary?
Mary, yeah.
On Mary, okay.
It's terrible.
Yeah, Steve has been out there too, but I know the address.
They got four campers, the car, you got no license plate, you got a trailer parked in the center of that, right in the house, by the front of the house.
Okay.
And the window sill is up far out. They do roof. And there was people living there before, and you can see cars going in and out of it, must be drugs or something. Well, that got out, and now it's been sitting empty, and now you're bringing a big camper in, parked it right in, parked the car right back, and you got about that far from the peak of the house, you let it there, and the lady right beside it wanted to sell her house, and she said, there ain't nobody gonna buy my house because it's got this junk.
Right.
And then you go all the way down to the left, the people have junk, she owns all that other place. To me, there's got people, a whole bunch of people living in there, and they do nothing, and look back. We need to get the town cleaned up.
I know, I get it. You know, we're just coming off winter, so, you know, the street crew is within probably the next week or two. We're gonna get at the Ayton property, and what was the other one?
What I'm talking about.
No, Chris. I was
We're
looking at
going
Chris.
back down to 8.
Yeah, it's actually worse than, not worse as it was, but she has been out of town, so we can't, I mean, we haven't been able to go on the property, but she's back now, so we can get that scheduled and move forward.
Well, that's what I'm just getting at here. A lot of these things, there's one over on Fox too that somebody brought to my attention. The guy's refurbishing cars in his garage, and he fences back. It's on the corner of Trail and Fox. There's always, he's got a bunch of cars sitting there now, like he works on them, builds them. Driveway, and it's always full, side yard is full, and people are complaining that what's going on with that. So I did tell Steve about that address.
You did? Okay.
And I haven't seen any difference on that one either, so frustrates me, if we're not gonna have a rule to go forward, A, B, C, D, then why spend our money, our attorney money, our building inspector guy,
Right.
if we're not gonna complete the process, is all I'm asking.
Yeah,
That's all I'm asking.
I got it.
So what's our turnaround once we citation and then,
Okay, so, yeah, first we send a letter out, we have to give them 14 days. That's in our code. And then if they don't comply within 14 days, they also can give a request to council. So, actually, Mr. Norma, Mr. Norton or Norma, he's been giving us a lot of time because it's actually went more so because he did ask for a hearing. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So the next step is citation, and then it goes to court, and then, we have to wait until we get the order to release, and then we have to wait Public Works to have time to do it, because they have to fit this in their ever so busy schedule as it is. So, that's the process, folks.
So what you need to do is have a copy of the inspector, and the inspector can go in there, and start hauling that stuff out, that's what you gotta do. I had one officer there, and that inspector there, and he got his notice,
Yeah.
and he ain't got nothing to do, he just let it go.
Yep. Anyone else? Yes.
Can I address the council on something else? Just real short. Cedar Valley Youth Sports Association, I know we've been talking about this, and a lot of things that they need before the season starts. If you've got a Facebook page, go out to the Facebook page and check their site out. But they have a fundraiser this weekend, the 10th from 6 to 9 at Chuck E. Cheese. Mention you're there for Cedar Valley Youth Sports Association, and they will, I don't know what their percentages that they're giving to them, but do that. But there's also a lot of stuff that they're needing. If you're interested, you get an Amazon account. They got an Amazon gift list out there, that stuff that they need. They're looking for donations from that, or on, find it here real quick. Cleanup and donation, which is March 25th and 26th. They're looking for things like supplies for the concession stand, which you can also get off of the Amazon gift page, but also rakes, shovels, things like that. Just, you got something, a rake or shovel you're not using or something, and donate it from the value that'll be used on the ball line. First aid kits, all kinds of things, but you can go on the Facebook page, they got a whole list of the things. And then if the weather's bad, the 25th and the 26th, they're moving it to the 15th and 16th of April.
Excellent, thank you.
So that'll help the ball diamonds and hopefully get them off to a good service.
Excellent. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you, guys.
Bye, Justin.
Bye, Justin.